When something deviates from what is standard or expected within the realms of our existence, we call it anomalous, because we can't explain it. But these things must have a purpose to be in a state of being in the first place. There is no one question that we can ponder with consistency without eventually arriving at more questions. There will always be less answers than questions because we are constantly asking questions on top of questions, and you must consider that not only should we be looking for answers on the Earth, on other planets, and in the distant, far-reaching parts of the universe, but we must also look within ourselves for answers in this sense. If answers exist in the realms of reality within our consciousness, then this is the best place to hide them, because we have little understanding as to how we access such knowledge. We are here on Earth, right? But why are we here? Are we nothing but a growing bacteria on this planet, or are we something else? Are we humans the carriers of knowledge that has been planted in our psyche for the greater understanding? Wait till you hear this. What is knowledge? Knowledge is the understanding of a subject by acquiring either skills or mental understanding through learning facts and gathering information. But it is also awareness, and that includes our consciousness. Within our consciousness, there exists knowledge that is being slowly released through realization and sudden awareness. This is the process of invention and understanding of disciplines like math, astronomy, and science. These said things exist, and when we become more aware of their existence, we introduce our findings to the rest of our civilization, and therefore we are recognized for our contribution to our species. When we discovered flight by means of the invention of the airplane, we seen this as a necessary step in the development of our people and essential in our efforts to discover the planet Earth. And with this, we seen things from the sky that seemingly could only have been placed on Earth to be seen from above. One such discovery that was only possible with the invention of flying was in that of the discovery of the hidden sides of the Great Pyramid. Discovered in 1940 by the Royal Air Force and photographed, this showed that the Great Pyramid is an 8-sided figure, not a 4-sided figure. Each of the pyramid's 4 sides are evenly split from base to tip by very subtle concave indentations. It is not known why this is, but there are some theories as to what is going on, and it clearly adds even more depth and mystery to the greatest enigma presented to our civilization from the ancients. The builders have clearly done this deliberately, but why? It is only visible twice a year at dawn and dusk on the equinox, so you would have to assume that this is deliberate and signifies mind-boggling understanding of engineering, astronomy, maths, and geometry. So we also need to assume that the positioning of this thing is not just a coincidence, as some would suggest. Whatever this thing was, being that of a power plant, a circuit board, or astronomical clock, or indeed if it had many purposes at various stages of existence, we must first understand how it was constructed and why. We can't stress the complexity of this thing enough, and the 8 sides must be signifying something of major importance that we not yet know about. This concavity divides each of the apparent 4 sides in half, creating a very special and unusual 8-sided pyramid, and it is executed to such an extraordinary degree of precision as to enter the realm of the uncanny. The 8 sides of the pyramid was discovered in 1940, but it was actually first mentioned in La Description d'Egypte in the late 1700s by Sir William Matthew Flinders Petrie, who was an English Egyptologist and a pioneer of a systematic method in archaeology and preservation of artifacts. During studies performed at the site, Petrie noticed a hollowing in the core masonry in the center of each face, and it is actually measurable. This unique and relatively unknown feature is much easier sighted from the air, but under certain lighting conditions, it can also be viewed from the ground. Many theories were proposed as different researchers and archaeologists studied the pyramid, But until today, no acceptable explanation has been given about why the Great Pyramid is built in such a way. Some have suggested that this was in fact a flaw in this amazing structure's design and construction, but we think this is of greater importance that we are yet to understand. Theories on why it has 8 sides range from wind erosion to structural tolerance, but no one theory explains what is going on, and there is hardly any examination of the phenomena. Most pyramids have individual particularities which are as of yet difficult to explain. For instance, in the Great Pyramid, as possibly in certain others, a large depression in the packing blocks runs down the middle of each face, implying a line of extra thick facing there. Though there is no special difficulty in arranging the blocks of a course in such a way that they increase in size at the middle, there is no satisfactory explanation of the feature any more than there is of the girdle blocks in the Great Pyramid's ascending passage. How the Great Pyramid was built is a time message. Supposedly built in 2550 BC using the primitive tools, equipment, materials, and technology of his day, even though no tools were ever found, no equipment was ever recovered, and no reliefs or hieroglyphics have ever documented the wonder. Yet it stands 146 meters high, 230 meters on each side with a footprint of 13.3 acres. It is built using over 2.3 million stones, most in the 2 to 6 ton range each, and some weighing up to 70 tons, and occupies 90 million cubic feet. This thing is one of the largest, best planned, and precise structures ever built, and we are supposed to believe it was done during a technologically inferior period of time. We think not. The age, reason, purpose, and how this was achieved is the riddle of the ages. If it was done by the dynastic Egyptians, they would have told us so. The complicated task of the Great Pyramid continues to confound our intelligence and invoke our imagination. The more we learn of the enigmatic masterpiece, the more we are realizing that this is off the charts and simply must have been built by a civilization that was not only more advanced than we are, but that are also no longer of this earth. The purpose for the concavity of the Great Pyramid remains a mystery, and no satisfactory explanation for this feature has been offered. The indentation is so slight that any practical function is difficult to imagine, unless that is, its exact function was to highlight the day of the equinox, but that is absolutely ridiculous and makes as much sense as Robert De Niro acting like Jim Carrey in Ace Ventura. This massive wonder was built to face true north. In fact, it's the most accurately aligned to north of any structure in the world. Despite being made many thousands of years ago, the pyramid still faces that direction with just a minimal error. However, this is because the North Pole shifts over time, which means at one time, the pyramid was spot on. How the builders knew how to do this and why it was done is so mind-boggling, out of this world, that we are simply told it was the tomb of the king, despite nothing backing this up whatsoever. What do you guys think about this 8-sided anomaly in the ancient marvel? Comments below, and as always, thank you for watching.